Hello and welcome to the DM's Book Club, a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons and Dragons and discuss how we might include it in our role-playing campaigns. With me back again, once in the Zoom room of doom, it's my erstwhile host, Hamilton. Hamilton, hello, my friend.
Hello, the Zoom room of doom.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I've been watching an episode, a TV series, which has now hit its. I'm catching up on it from quite late in its COVID years.
Oh.
And I find it so hard to watch, because they're like, you need to go online and download something from zoom.com. And it's like this, and it's just, it's like they age so bad, like it ages so much because of the COVID thing. And I get at the time when you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is really interesting seeing other people. And like, it was quite overwhelming at the time of like, everyone's going through this shared experience. But now you're like, can we stop? I just don't want this anymore. I don't want the reminder of it. It's so like, it just kind of doesn't places it so much,
I've discovered that a lot with like stuff. So like my big love of TV shows is Doctor Who. So I was watching like the recent that brand new series has just come out. I've been watching a recent one and then I watched a couple of others recently. And there's like mentions of Twitter. There's mentions of like the Kylie Minogue song Padum Padum, which came out like 3 years ago. And instead I go, oh, well, that's aged this completely.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. Like
particularly Doctor Who, which doesn't want to be,
aged at all. Yeah. And it's fascinating just to be sat there going like, oh, well, I know exactly when that came. Oh, well, and it really pulls me out of it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean about like the COVID remote recordings, because there's definitely a series in Doctor Who where you're like, the story does make no sense and there's not much to it. I understand why. They probably can't film it all, or it's been edited down.
Yeah.
Like even like the Christmas special of this year had that amazing actress from Bridgerton in it, but she's hardly in it. And I go, I bet she had a lot of press tours and couldn't commit to filming, so they've had to rewrite her character to be like the smallest thing. And it fucking sucks because like on the marketing, they're like, oh, it's Nicole, she's gonna be great. And I'm like, yeah, I bet she is. And then like she has like, I don't know, half a page, and I'm just like going like, oh, somebody, they were like, well, what do? We just rewrite it.
I mean, I don't know if it was on like always intended, but I think the Queen Charlotte series is really good. I think it's really good. I feel like that came about probably from the fact that everyone in Bridgerton got super famous and they were like, we can't do the next season quick enough, so let's do something else. And I'm like, I'm so happy for it because it's a really good, I think that's the best season.
It's one of my favorite seasons because you got like the bits in the present with Queen Charlotte who's just like, oh, sorry, it's prayers, and then it goes back to I love that series.
And Lady Danbury's like whole backstory and that is so good as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think to be honest, it's 100% the best season, like because everything gets so wrapped up in this who's freaking lady, I want to say Witherbourne, but it's not. My head's just gone.
I know what it is, but I want you to come up with some new examples of what this is.
Witherbourne.
Witherbourne? That's like a D&D school.
Wrestleblow.
Wrestleblow?
Whistling down. Whistling down. I'm close, aren't I?
Whistle down.
Whistleton. Weaseltown.
Whistle down. But I like you had the WBs, or WDs, sorry. But I like the idea that you're just like, with a bloom, and I'm like, no, that's a Strixhaven school. What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's like it's the SNL piss take version of it. It's Lady Whistlebloom. There you go.
Lady Whistlebloom. That's your we've always said that before. It's like you can always take stuff that is from, like, you just change it slightly for your players, and they go, wait, I know what that is, and you're like, no, you don't. It's clearly my version of it. But speaking of our versions of things, Hamilton, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today?
Yeah, what's our topic of choice, my friend?
Our topic of choice is a physical media. It's not. It comes with a very small book. It's about cards. We're talking about cards today, and the Better Backstories Big Bundle Box by the ever wonderful, illustrations by Blasbaros and designed by Jay Stilipec and Tim Mazurek and Blasbaros themselves. And it was a Kickstarter back in the COVID times, I think, in 2021. And it had 13,500. That's a weird way to say it. 1,357 backers. Back in the day when I did Dragon's Duel exclusively, this Jay character reached out to me. I can't remember if it was on Twitch or if it was on Instagram or Twitter as it was back then. But they said, oh, look, hey, you're making these characters all the time. I think you would like our thing we've made. And this was after the Kickstarter finished. It's called Better Backstories. And it's basically a set of cards which gives you ideas and inspiration for making backstories for characters. And not only is it there just to help you as you're just going, like, making your actual beginning hero or an experienced hero, but also, like, if you just got NPC coming up and you're just like, I want to add something to them, here's a set of cards. And it's actually surprisingly good, and we used it throughout Dragon's Duel. And you can find, if you go to the Dragon's Duel YouTube channel, you can find the Better Backstories where we made some of Tay, friend of the show, Taylor's character, and we had a load of fun with them, and they created some absolutely wild things. And it's one of those classic examples of, say one extra word and give it to someone random, and they will come up with a completely different, like, interpretation of that word.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it holds on. So we've used them.
I was going to say,
use them as well.
Yeah, because you've always cracked them out at every opportunity, which I love. I'm the same. I love a good prompt. I love, like, going random table generator, all that sort of thing. And I remember you distinctly talking about these when we did our How to Create a Character panel way back at MCM ages ago. That's what sort of, I was like, oh, maybe I should ask you about that, because then you brought them out recently when we were trying to create characters for our new Warhammer Wolfrup a series that we're starting to do just now.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, I don't actually know anything about these other than just playing them through. And so, yeah, I'm a big fan of, like, having stuff that I love a good pair of cards that I can feel and tactile and try things out.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, like, you can buy the Better Backstories, the box itself. It's now on $10 on the website just now, and I can see that they're still active on Instagram, so they're clearly going around to conventions. So yeah, I just like, oh, well, it is something that's easily accessible. You know, if you've got the money to spare, I appreciate maybe not just now. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, I remember you obviously talking about it, and we've used it several times, but I've gone, actually, we've not really spoken about it, because this is your method of it, helping us with backstories. Yeah. But we've talked about it before. I am somebody who, you know, is lucky enough to play in a lot of actual plays or run them, etc. But when it comes to creating characters, I kind of just go, it's just going to be me, but with a different hat on. It's just going to be me, but a different coloured pair of trousers. You know, it's very similar to what I am. So I rarely think about beyond that, because I find it creating stuff can really sap your energy. And I don't know how people create so many characters at once. So having something like this, I go, oh, brilliant. It gives me the prompts, because as a improviser, I can go, I would never have thought of that. Yes. And then I build up from there. So yeah, I'm keen for us just to chit-chat about them. Like, how do you create stuff using these cards? And then we thought we'd have a go at doing one if we've got the time. Yeah.
It's exactly as you've said it. It's the perfect prompt material. And it is like, we all love our random rolling generators. And I think what these do is they have a good mix. There's a mixture of cards. And so I'll explain what you get on a card, because it's probably hard to, without, you obviously can go Google them and have a look. But the fundamental elements of them, the main bit is this title. They come with big titles on the card, and there are two types. There are ones which are sort of one-shots, I'd like to say, where it has a big title, a description, and then there's some other things on the card that I'll talk about later, which are these little symbols and marks, and there's some marks on the back, actually, that mean additional things, but we'll talk about the critical elements. And then on top of some of these cards, some of the backers were able to, like, add a little quote for these one-shots. So all of these little one-shots have a little quote at the bottom here and here,
I love that.
which are, like, related to the prompt. And then there are other prompts which are a title with a little subtitle, and then a D10 random rolling table for each. So I'll just I picked up two of each type here for a start. So I've got spiritual. You grew up with a new age and or holistic tendencies. You either believe in or openly debunk the power of things like crystals, aura, massage, astrology, and or aromatherapy. You can either take it both ways. You can either be like spiritual, like I go down that whole I believe in these spiritual things, or I don't believe in these spiritual things.
Right.
But taking spiritual, it gives this in a particular way of like spiritual isn't like spiritualism, like, oh, I'm, crystals and stuff, but you can take that however you want. And that's the whole point. It's like you might lead this with something else. And then it has from backer Taylor Schmidt. There's a little quote for the spiritual one, which says, when I was in the order, I hated all their rules and regulations, but out here I can see exactly what they were preparing me for. Isabel, Paladin of the Alabaster Unicorn. And then the other type, being this like D10, says, run away. You left your family behind. 1, you never returned. 2, you fell in with criminals for a period of time. 3, you returned home on your own after a while. 4, you were captured by police and returned home by them. 5, taken in by a new family. 6, you wound up very far away. 7, you almost died. 8, you returned home with no memory of where you went. 9, your parents died looking for you. 10, your family treats your brief departure as a joke. So,
oh wow! Wait, what? Fucking hell!
I know, quite like good like mix of things.
Yeah.
And so that's the sort of like how the key parts of them are worked out. And you then, if you're going to make, it says in here, like if you're just going to take an NPC, just pick one of these cards and use that as something just to give them something. Doesn't mean you have to use it, but it's like, oh, Dave the Tavern Master. I'll pick up the next one. Dedicated. He's particularly devoted to their lord, country, company, or occupations. I'll say, no, they're really dedicated lord. And so I'll say the tavern is called the King's Aid or something like that. You know, that'll give you something. Yeah. And then you go in there and you note, and you could just say something about the tavern, like, oh, when you go in there, you notice the King's image, like portrait, is presented at the top of the bar, and there's a little dotive candle there always, and it just gives a little something about Dave, the bartender, that they're dedicated monarchist.
You say that, I instantly think of several pubs near where I used to live.
Yeah, exactly. You know exactly the one. Queen's image.
Yeah, Jubilee, anything with royalty. Yeah, and that's so interesting. Yeah, because like stuff like spirituality and runaway, those are two concepts where I wouldn't have gone instantly. Oh yeah, I know what to do with them. But I liked how you said like, yeah, you could take it and go like, yes, this is my point of view. It is positive or negative. I like that. And then the runaway one, yeah, what a mixed options. And I was like, yeah, I would have thought of it. But that one of like, oh, everyone thinks it's a joke that you ran away. I was like, bloody hell, how brutal. But again, that gives me such a reaction to it that makes it feel really genuine. And there's always that thing about, oh, truth in comedy and something. So like, I feel very related to that. So instantly I'm like, yeah, I could absolutely see myself going like, everyone thinks I'm a joke. If they think this is a joke, what else do people think I'm a joke? And then how does that make me feel? So yeah, what a simple way of putting it together.
100%. And you think just with dedicated, runaway, and spiritual, you're like, okay, so I joined some sort of weird hippie cult thing, ran away from home. I was really dedicated to this cult. Like I made it my passion. My bedspread was all the rage. You know, my family told me it was a joke. I then came back, and after realizing it was all a complete falsity, it was a con, they stole all my money, and my family now think I'm a joke. You know, like there's your backstory.
But then you're
secretly dedicated still to the cult, like as in you believe it's still true, even though it all fell apart. You're like, you still somehow believe it.
You want to believe it because you like maybe there is something there, and then you got taken in by this like Ponzi scheme, whatever, exactly. And yet you come home and people just don't go, oh, is it a bit like that time you went off to go be part of that team? Like, oh yeah, and that's just two cards you just put together. Incredible, really interesting.
That's what's really fun about them, and it has a couple of other things just to help further this if you want to put more to it or use them in more ways. They have like categories to them. Now, these don't really necessarily matter, but what I think is quite useful about them is if you wanted to take certain elements out of the deck, you can attribute the deck however you like. So you have life, mystery, change, drive, trouble, mystical, benefit, and technical. So that's 8 different categories. Now, if you're saying you're going to make a seasoned advanced hero, it says to take 8. And some people might want to choose one of each. Or you might want to suggest, like, I'm going to go through the deck until I get at least 3 life cards. I want 1 change, and I want something that drives me on. So I'm going to take those. So it gives you this opportunity to do that. I've never really gone into that. The other ones, like technical, you might take out because they're very much more sci-fi focused.
Yes.
So if I could find one off the top of the first technical one I come across, there's not as many in this deck, so it's a little...
Yes, it's roughly like 20, I think, 20s.
Replacement. You have some sort of body modification, arm, eye, head, looks real, transplant, full body, finger, chest, ear, leg. So it's just more sci-fi. Obviously, it doesn't have to be sci-fi.
No.
Or this device, you acquired an advanced item with curious effects. You can still use that in your D&D, like you've got a spelljammer or you've got something along those lines, but you might want to take those out of the deck as part of it, basically.
Interesting.
So those are there. And then there's a couple other little elements as well. They have landmark icons and weather icons, which are just there as additional things, like you're just being a GM and you just pick your next thing and you go, oh, okay, well, the weather outside today is, I'm looking at this card, heat wave. So it just gives you something on each card. Or the next day, oh, it's snowing. Now it's really snowing, the snowman. It's partially cloudy. You know, it's kind of heavy rain. You know, so
there's definitely some sort of climate change happening in your part of this fantasy world. Like it was heat wave and then snow.
Exactly. There's blizzard and deep snow. That's what I had. Dark clouds, drought, flood, humid. But it could be for like world building as well. If you're just thinking like, what is the predominant? I'm just thinking like, what's the predominant in this next place I'm making? It's Mudslides, yes.
Ooh.
Oh no, sorry, fog. It's fog. Mudslides looks a little bit similar.
But that's cool though. Like, yeah, like maybe it's not a day-to-day thing, but you're like, okay, for the next month or so we have this and this. And yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, maybe I'm just like, oh yeah, everything's always sunshiny or it's a bit rainy depending on where you are in my fantasy world. But yeah, what if you do have mudslides? What does that mean for your adventurers? How are they traveling? What kind of adventures that might they be on? Maybe they have to go and save some more people that their house has been slid away, if there are floods and all that sort of thing. It is obvious that, oh, of course, these things can happen. But actually, I'm just like, oh, but I could do that. That's a more grounded maybe mission or adventure than like, oh, the wizard's been kidnapped and this, that, and the other. You could be like, oh, a wizard did it, in terms of like all their experiments. But then you could be like, well, we got to save these people or we got to help with their housing or something like that. And even if that's just like half a session, but that could be just gentle role play in that sort of sense. You will do these things, but these things will take time. So yeah, I kind of like that it's not constantly action, action, action. These could be like not genteel, but it's like, oh, it's a different kind of like just everyday community service, like, oh, we need adventures to help us rebuild the barn after the big tornado that came through here,
And the other thing I used them when I first did it was like, oh, that's what the weather was like when the critical element happened. So like it was snowing when you were birthmarked. I don't know, like some birth when it was snowing or something like that. Just to add something to it. And the other thing is it gives you like locations. So you have like forest, farmland, glacier, grassland, swamp, volcano. So you can just be like, all right, this one is friends. You have had a group of friends or a companion, and this says lightning and forest. So you can be like, you were lost in a forest and you were both struck by lightning, and now you have a friend for life. Like you could do that, for example.
We're bonded in some way. Absolutely. Yeah.
Those are quite fun. And then it has an alignment part of it, which is positive, negative, equal, or question mark. And I think you can use those if you like. I like to, because they always are the same, because they're stuck to the card, I always like to then choose a next card and go like the back, look at the back of it because it has all these things on the back as well. Additional things. And be like, okay, so you got the friends. Is that a positive thing? Or is it a negative thing? Like I have had a group of friends. Is it like they got you to commit a crime as one of the ones on the top thing? So it could be you say, I'm going to take the negative of that. Or maybe it's like, it's positive, but they got me to commit a crime. They got me to commit a crime that was a good thing. So I did a Robin Hood with my friends. Or the crime was a necessity for social justice or something like that. I don't know. Or in doing the crime, I left my house, which exploded by accident.
And I was okay as a result.
And I was okay because I did the crime or something. I don't know. But it kind of frees you up for more and more prompts. It really packs a lot in to all of it. And it also finally just has a D10 random number for each back of each card, because there are D10 tables. So obviously, in case you don't have the dice on you, so you can all do it just by the cards, you can just pick the next card. And I've literally picked 7 3 times. But yeah, you can pick a number that will help give you the card number you want.
I think it's interesting because obviously when we've used them, when we got the cards you've drawn for us and we describe it through, we always try and justify everything. And it's one of those things I would say, maybe if it's got the cards, it's like, okay, you have these, I don't know, 4 to 5 elements if you're a starting character, or was it 7 or 8 that you had if you were playing a more veteran character. And it's great with those categories and stuff. I think in my head is like, here are these options. You can put them all into play, like you can just find them all, or you can see, use them as inspiration and then play to find out. So I think that's the key thing, is that you don't want to be something like, oh, but I have all this backstory. What is this character in the end? Because obviously sometimes you're like, well, they have to be a certain way. And maybe it's just like, you don't use that element after all, or it's something that comes into play later, almost like fortune telling, like the Book of Many Things that we've talked about. And with those cards, sometimes that you use them not only to create like a character spread anyway, but also like the adventure, all that sort of thing. So this idea of using cards to really predict stuff, and maybe none of it comes to pass, but when it does, people go, oh shit, that was in the cards, and you're like, yes, exactly how the Edwardian tarot card enthusiasts wanted it to be. Like, yes, the cards predicted this. No,
exactly. And I mean, using it for your proper D&D campaign, depending on like the vibe you're going for, these may not be like, you might just want to have like, oh, we don't want to do it so stupid, not everyone's going to be an edgelord, we're not going to have silly ones, so maybe it's like, I'm just trying to look for 1 or 2 things to just give me some inspiration to build this character's sort of backstory. But like when it came to Dragon's Duel, it helps enormously in making things ridiculous. So I go to Tay's character where we got, I think if I remember, it had like telepathy and symbiote as well. So we gave them and I don't know how it ended up as a fish, but I think it had animal as well. So it was like, okay, so Taylor's character was a super dumb but highly charismatic, like 40 charisma. She's mentioned a lot of times. Bard. We made it out that they had in a goldfish bowl around their neck, so super buff. They can carry this goldfish bowl around the neck. They have a goldfish, which is a symbiotic relationship with Tay's character that they telepathically communicate with, and they allow them to not die from their 1 intelligence score. Basically, also their 1 wisdom score. So that's the reason they survive. And they constantly, and so like to create the character art, I have a fishbowl around their neck with a little goldfish in it.
That's proper Minsk and Boo. That's what I'm thinking in my head, It's that sort of vibe to it.
And then Tay played off it as she would do the whole time as a bard that's always like getting lyrics and stuff from this telepathic goldfish on her neck. Yeah. So good fun.
Yeah, really good fun. And like, I can imagine for really silly one-shots, if people like have no idea, creating a character go cool, just playing into that and being really like, it's a proper farce. It's proper like just be this character and just have fun with it. Yeah, I love that idea as well. Yeah, like I said, when you were talking about it, I was like, God, yeah, all I really love now is like getting these random things and going like, okay, I can be silly little guys, perfect, and then have fun with it. And then sometimes I go, oh, well, actually, I could be more serious in quotation marks, more voice of reason. But then so it's so flexible. There's such a variety in it. So, amazing. Should we have a go at like creating something just now, just a general sort of character background?
Okay, I'll shuffle. Do a little shuffle.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do a special shuffle.
Oh, you good at like? Can't hear it at all, but I just assume you. But also your hands are below the camera, so I just assume you just go like some sort of magician.
I can't do that. I
have to do my overhand shuffle when I play Magic, and then sometimes I have to just crush them in, and I feel awful when I do. I can't do the whole. I will never be able to run poker. I would never be able to run blackjack. As those cool casino people do.
Oh, I like these. Okay, these will work very much. I think one of them. Okay, here we go. So they're all D tenors. I'm going to try it. They're all D tenors, so we need to use it. So you've got discovery. You found something unique. Have you got a D10 on you?
I was going to grab a D10. I'm always. What a question. Of course, I always have a D10 next to me.
Always have a D10 on me. Right. Okay. Cool.
Right. Yeah. Go on. So read it out. So discovery. You said.
Yeah. You found something unique. So give me your D10, and we'll find out which one you get.
All right. I'm going to use my dice tower as well.
Ooh.
That is a 5. 5 on the dice.
You've discovered a secret location, which is so weird because the next card is location.
Oh God, these work out, don't they?
Freaking wild! It happens so many times. But there you go.
I love that.
You were born in an interesting place. Okay, so you found something unique, which is a secret location, but you were born in an interesting place. So maybe you refound where you were born. Now let's get a D10 for where this place may be.
All right.
Even though it does say Thunder Island, because it says Thunder Island as like the weather and the location. I'm like,
oh, incredible!
Done that on purpose.
That is a 4. 4.
Far off place. That's all it says. So you discovered like a location you were born in that was an interesting far off place.
A long time ago in a far off place. It's a Star Wars. That's what it is.
Okay. The next one you got is you have a pet. You have or had a unique animal friend.
All right. I'll roll the die again.
Now, we can see if it's a positive or negative. Next card is a negative, so I'm going to say you might not have this pet
That's fine.
anymore.
That's fine by me. I'm all right. I rolled a 9 this time.
A tiny dragon.
Oh, no. I've lost the dragon.
No, you lost the tiny dragon.
Oh, no wonder. I was too busy trying to rediscover the place I was born, which is far away, and then I lost the dragon. Oh.
Fiona, you need to go back home. Home, dragon? Where's that?
Yeah.
Well, it's a far off place. But the only way to get there is I must have my soul reconnect with the ether for you to travel there.
No, dragon.
No, tiny dragon, no.
Toothless, why? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. God, I lose a dragon? Oh.
And henceforth, you are a sourpuss.
Yeah.
Bar humbug. So let's see why you're such a sourpuss.
I mean, I can think of why, but let's see.
You lost your tiny dragon.
I know. I feel gutted as Fiona. That was a 5 I rolled.
You lack self-confidence. That was what they were trying to teach you. That's what and you're going and in Star Wars fashion, you're gonna have a Jedi ghost dragon moment when
my
you're
word.
down and out.
Proper Falcor, from
exactly.
the early story.
When it's all looking low and you're like, I can't do this anymore, and it's like, Fiona, Tiny Dragon, is that you?
Tiny Dragon, yes. It's just like, but it still speaks with that deep, deep voice. Yes. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you can do this.
Oh, yes, I guess I'll find that far off place I rediscovered from where I came from.
Well, the reason you might rediscover this is with education.
Okay, all right.
You were provided specialized training.
Let's see, that's a 6.
You were homeschooled.
Incredible.
I can imagine this kid right now. It's so green.
Sourpuss. I'm going to go find home.
Maybe that's it. You found your way home. You lost Tiny Dragon on the way, but when you were there, you were taught something, the value of self-confidence.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea.
Or you were always homeschooled and you weren't allowed to go home because where you're from is like the land. You're like a dragon. You're like part dragon.
Yeah, part dragon. Yeah.
And they adopted you from birth. You've always been in your humanoid form.
Yeah, maybe it's like proper Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru. I'm living with relatives away, and they never talk about home as a result. So,
oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going full down the Star Wars route now.
Star Wars with dragons. TM.
Trademarked. Hamilton. Theatre Macabre. Yep, done. It's your next setting. Yeah.
That's your character. I love it.
Well, instantly we've got so much to play with. Like, I know we're sort of like joking a little bit, but instantly, like, Tiny Dragon, I've lost it. That honestly, I feel bereft as a result. But like, that gives me motivation to be like, try and find it. And then the sourpuss, what a great word, sourpuss as well. Like, instantly, just always glum. I can imagine this person again. These sort of like glum cheeks, like no, dragon. That's how I imagine it being.
I just imagine a little bit more emo and just like a tattoo of their dragon named on their arm. Yeah, and they're just
this
like
is Talkir. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just the kid from How to Train Your Dragon, but like if the dragon died, because they already have that sort of fox haircut, don't they? So it kind of works.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they just dyed their hair black and like put the eyeliner on, and they're just like,
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, a nice sort of quick whistle-stop tour from using Better Backstories cards. And they're still available on their website, which is betterbackstories.com. And it seems like, according to their Instagram, they're at quite a number of cons as well. And it's like,
cool.
Yeah, I'd go check them out and stuff. Like we've had a lot of fun, and I know like you're a massive supporter of their stuff from using it all the time. But like it just works, and it's just a nice way of just getting chatting and stuff like that. And I can imagine us doing this maybe not with the sessions area if you're creating characters and stuff like that, but like if you wanted to have a just general chat about stuff, maybe you'd even do this before you create characters, before you create the actual character sheets. And you go, here's the idea that you could use, and then you go, especially if you're using systems like you can choose where you put your stats and whatnot, or what kind of class, you can roll these things and go, oh yeah, that works, and then go away and create the character.
I think giving more to people is never a bad thing when you're doing these sorts of. It depends on the people. I imagine some people say it differently, but I definitely think like if you're giving people more things to play off, doesn't mean I have to take them. It just gives you stuff to just like go, oh, this could be a wild idea or something like that. Like one of them I just saw is Shindig. The family threw a big party for you. Like, oh, that's cool.
What a great word as well. Like, again, all these words like sourpuss, Shindig, like rediscovery, spiritual, all that sort of thing. Instantly I go, oh yeah, those are very evocative words. Like Shindig for me, it feels very personal. Like I feel that's a very British word, but you know what I mean? Like it really sparks and evokes stuff like, how do I feel about that particular word? When it could be, it could just be occasion, that's the thing. So
or party. The Shindig is much better. Yeah, Shindig gives you proper vibes. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Hamilton, for like reintroducing me to the Better Backstories, but also hopefully introducing a lot of other people. I'll put a link to in the show notes where people can go and check these things out, and maybe I'll link into the because you would have used it on Dragon's Duel as well. I'll link into link into the one for Tay's one as well. Yeah. Because I think that's a good example of it.
It's a wild one.
But Hamilton, where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to? How are things going in Hamilton Land?
How are things going in Hamilton Land? Hamilton, where can you find? You can find me as Theatre Macabre now everywhere. That is what I'm doing. How's things going? I've got loads of YouTube videos I want to make, but I am so busy with the Kickstarter book. I'm just going to have to like leave them on the side. I've got a whole series I want to do around Forbidden Psalm. I don't know if you know it, but it's the Morkborg miniatures game.
Yeah, well, no, you mentioned it in one of our previous episodes. I've just edited, so it's out in the past, but I put it in the show notes, so people can go check it out.
Well, I got given this for free from Will themselves when I gave them my book for free. So it was very
an actual book. Hamilton's throwing up to us.
Showing a book, which is called Forbidden Psalm: Endless Horrors from Between the Stars. Right, and basically, it's a game of evil cults who have decided that the world needs to end and that the things between the stars should come forth and make the world anew. So it's basically a miniatures game where you are a cult and you summon, and you have like this amazing tables of how to make horrific summoned things from across the. I'll show you some art.
I would say the cover looks incredible, like an individual. Oh wow, what? Oh, that's horrible. That's definitely Fiona. Fantastic. I love that. No,
I think Fiona would absolutely love this. So maybe Fiona, if I do a video of I actually come around to seeing this video, maybe we could challenge each other to make some minis for this.
Oh my god, yeah. Sorry, Hamilton just showed me some horrific images that I'm not going to describe. You're going to have to find the book for that. Oh, look at this. There's way too many arms on that creature.
Well, basically, all the images and artwork from this is the artist that they hired, used the book, did all the random rolling tables, and then created the art. Every single piece of art is horrific and is made from those tables. Goodness. So
yeah, I was gonna say the cover looks beautiful. Yeah, like that was lots of art, like lots of it looks like somebody like sort of praying, sort of like with blood coming out of like a proper nun sort of thing, and then these horrific tentacles coming towards them. I'm like, damn, that's a poster if ever I saw one. By the way, that's
massive like content warning because it says this is a book about cults who are trying to end the world. So there are lots of horrible things that happen in this, but it's really dark, and so I'm going to be making some miniatures for that and stuff like that. So I've got some horrific things here, which is like a werewolf body with a skeleton body growing out of the head bit. So it's like a centaur, but werewolf skeleton centaur. So, general fun stuff. So that's what I'm doing.
Nice.
And doing ridiculous art, which I don't know if you saw the latest piece, Fiona, but I don't know if people want to hear this, but I've got this city and it's meant to be an endless city. And I had in my head, like, I wanted to draw this image and I couldn't draw it. Do you know what I mean? I was like really struggling. And so I wanted it to be really vertical. And I started doing like a section through, like if you saw like an elevation of the street, like a very much like the elevation of a building. I was trying to do it like tiered and it was just looking crap. And I thought, all right, fine. I'm just going to start drawing the city. And I started drawing it like one layer and I made it quite tall. And I was like, it's just not. It's meant to be like this infinite void, and I kind of a little bit like Sigil, but like the whole point is it's like a representation of capitalism, which is a bit on the nose. But the whole idea is that like it just gets taller and taller and taller. The city never gets big, like the island never grows, but the city gets bigger. If you see what you mean? So it sort of like grows its interdimensionally grows ever. And I was like, I drew this building, and it just looked like so like this. So I then I woke up this morning and went, what if I just mirrored the image and then used that and like I literally just like so that original like city I drew, which is just like a kind of generic city, I must admit, with just but like fantasy tall towers. Now that is 1/4 of the image now, and now it just zooms down. If I show you a picture, and
you send me a picture. Yeah, I like the idea.
Live react.
Okay, live reacting. Okay, I'm going to live react. I'm going to get on with it. But yeah, I like that idea. Go wait. You sleep on it. You go wait. I can change everything. And yeah, I do that. I do that all the time.
So I'll show you what it was looking like, so you can see like where the intent was. So this is it. Here we go. Right. That's image number 1. And then I went, wait a minute. So it's a generic sort of fantasy, but towers, quite tall.
Big moon, like it. Yeah,
big moon, but it's big. It's a big city. It's not like it's dense, right?
Yeah.
I was like, nah, it's not enough. It needs to be like, because it's I don't know.
It feels very Dishonored, actually, looking at it, because I've been playing a little bit of Dishonored.
Which is kind of cool and is kind of like the vibe. Yeah. It's like it's sort of meant to have a London-y vibe to it, like sort of thing. And I was like, nah, it needs to be that.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I've kept like the top corner and then just gone build, expand.
Oh, yeah. I love that. That's great.
But Fiona,
Yeah.
It's taken days. It's taken.
Yeah, art does take days. It's great. Oh, that's cool. I see. I like where it's going. Really cool. And yeah, obviously you've used your red. I'm like, yes, red.
There's the kind of color tone, and it's also
Yeah.
really. I find it really easy, even though I'm colorblind. With reds, I find it really useful to use a color as a basis for these, because then you can go warmer and colder, and then if I want to change the colors, I can just do that in Photoshop after the fact, instead of like getting bogged down into, if I use one color palette and then I can change the colors later. It's just cool. It's like values. People normally do it black and white, but I like to have a bit of warm and cold in there. But yeah, like that freaking brick bit at the bottom there is all hand drawn. Like, that's not photo bashed, right?
No.
And that has taken me all morning. And the like timber work. Anyway, so that is what I'm doing.
I love that. Well, where can people pre-order or do a late pledge for this book?
Yeah, so this is the thing. If you can go to Kickstarter and you just search Wraithborn, you can find it. You can still late pledge now. And if you become a backer, I have a secret area in my Discord channel, which is very cool. I've got some nice people in there being very positive about Wraithborn, and I'm sharing a lot of stuff on there. And if you do join, but you want to also get a little sneaky peek at playtest material, there's a little second button you can click to become a playtester, and I'll be releasing our Ironclad class very soon for people to try out. So, because there's quite a lot of different classes, there's quite a lot of different mechanics in this, and so I want to get those out to people as soon as possible, just so that I can get some feedback. Because if I could just send it, because I've got the time until it goes out, I might as well like allow people the chance to give it a go and play them. And if there's any feedback that helps manage them or make them a bit better, then all the better. But as much as anything, for the people out there just to be like, I want to play crazed person dressed up all in metal that goes out into the wasteland, why not? Yeah.
Do your own Fallout. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It is kind of like that, I guess. Yes.
Kind of.
I've just realized the relationship. I've never played a Fallout game, I've just realized.
I've not either. It's one of those things where I bet it's lots of fun, but I have no time for it, unfortunately. But yeah.
I mean, I guess it's space. I was thinking more like there's astronauts. You have to wear you have to wear a spacesuit to go out into the wasteland.
So. Proper night stuff. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, because we'll go check that out, obviously, on Kickstarter, Wraithborn, and obviously all your links are in the show notes as well, so people can join the Discord and chitty chat and get excited. Yeah.
Exactly. But, the thing I would say when I am lost in the wasteland is, where am I?
Amazing. That U-turn as we turn around in the wasteland. Yes,
I've done some really long ones recently, so I thought I'd
I love it. No, I love it. So What Am I Rolling is a twice monthly tabletop RPG one-shot podcast where we do lots of different RPG systems and interviews with game designers. As always, episodes are coming out. It's one of those things where I know what I've edited. I think at this point, more of the Savage Worlds is finally being released.
I just saw Savage Worlds come out on Sunday.
Hopefully people are enjoying it. It's an interesting system. It's a very swingy system as well. And we've got a lot of people. I think what was interesting about this game particularly wasn't necessarily about the mechanics necessarily, but it was the idea that we had we had our main characters and then a backup character, just in case that first character died. And no spoilers really, but we had to change over characters quite a bit in a sense. But it was fun. So that idea of having like almost like Ship of Theseus kind of game where suddenly like, okay, how many characters can we get through, and whether or not such a series could if you have the story, like almost like we used it as it's like The Walking Dead. It's a zombie game. Yeah. Do you just carry on the story? Like, if everyone's still willing to play, do we just bring in more and more characters? And who do we follow the story with? So yeah, that was just a very interesting experiment. So cool. I hope people go and check it out. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I haven't yet to listen to it, but it is. I was actually singing your praises about Long Haul 83 again.
Oh yes.
The soloist, because I was like, because I keep going on about how good that is.
It's such a good game, yeah.
I think my thing is zombies is the one thing I've just since Last of Us, nothing's hit the same. I guess 28 Days Later I still think is a pretty great movie, and Weeks Later as well. But them and Last of Us pretty much done it. I haven't seen a really good zombie thing.
Yeah, for a while.
Since, I don't think. I can't.
Yeah, we have a talk back coming out as of the time of us recording at the weekend, because we did a few talkbacks because people obviously like to talk about these things, and we recommended Train to Busan, as a film to watch and and that is I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe it's a South Korean film, and it's just all takes place on a train. And
oh yes, I saw this on Patrick Willems's whole YouTube episode he did about trains. It was all about trains, and he said Train to Busan on there, and it looks really good actually.
I'd recommend it. They've got, I think, a sequel, and they're remaking it for American audiences. But the first one, of course they are. But I will say the first one, it because Korean zombies are scary. They are absolutely terrifying, and you know that these actors probably haven't been paid a lot. And it's like, okay, just go bananas, and they've gone, brah! And it's it was one of those things that there's just a scene where you see someone like on the train waving goodbye, and then the train's released, but then you see something horrific in the background getting on the train, and you're like, what's that? And that's kind of like, it just goes downhill from there. And it's just, it's one of the ones I always recommend as a fun zombie one that I feel is quite scary. It's a couple of years old now, so maybe it's not aged as well.
2016,
yeah, so it's a little bit old, but it's all good.
And what about RP Geeks? What's happening there? Is there anything? What's next on? Have you finished? You would probably by now have finished.
We will have finished Blades in the Dark. Sorry, RP Geeks is a TTRPG nerdy show where we do RPG systems and also fun facts. We did a little bit of lore drop in between that's related to the RPG in general. So I've been running Blades in the Dark, which will be coming to an end, which is it would be sad. It's one of those games, I think we've all enjoyed it, but I think I've spoken to your podcast. It's definitely one of those games where clearly we understand the potential of it, but we don't have time. So like, to get the most out of it, you have to play a long-term campaign of it. And it's so rare we get to do that nowadays. I know you were talking, I've been just recently editing our Woofrup GM's book club, and you were talking about your parent friend who's in their long campaign. You're like, how have they managed to do such a long campaign of Woofrup? Great for them, amazing. But yeah, we should be at this point playing our version of Kids on Bikes. We're going to be back into a Victorian sort of like setting. Shamli Bundell will be running it, and it's basically going to be, as far as I understand, we've yet to create any characters or anything like that, but it's supposed to be a bit like Oliver, but Oliver as if they've got superpowers. I don't know how it's going to work, but you know what?
Lisa, can some more said, no. Well, take this.
Yeah, that's what I wonder is going to happen. So we'll play to find out, as always, but we'll have
What's the song that the what's his name?
Consider yourself at home.
That's it. Consider yourself.
Consider yourself
a family. What's his name?
It's the Artful Dodger.
I was like, it's a DJ. There's a DJ with the same name. What is it? I was like, it's not Fatboy Slim. It's the Artful Dodger. There you go. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Come check that out on the RP Geeks YouTube channel. It's just RP Geeks D&D, and you can find us all over Blue Sky and whatnot. I can put a link in the show notes if people need to. But yeah,
it should be on there.
That's us. I think that's all of us. But until next time, we'll see you next week with another episode of the DM's Book Club. But until then, we will
see you on the flip side.
Oh, seamless, amazing. Bye.